Hi friends, Lauka. Today I'll be sharing a story of Abdu'l-bahá titled 24 Years of Patience. While Abdu'l-bahá was a prisoner in Akka, there was a man in the city who hated Abdu'l-bahá very much. He behaved very badly towards Abdu'l-bahá. He was not kind to Abdu'l-bahá and said bad things about him. When he passed by Abdu'l-bahá, he would be so rude and unkind that he would cover his own face so that he wouldn't see Abdu'l-bahā's face. He was a poor man in spite of what he had done to Abdu'l-bahá. Abdu'l-bahá would still send him food and clothes. Once he fell sick, Abdu'l-bahá sent a doctor to help him and even paid for his medicine and gave him some money. Yet he was very ungrateful. He took the gifts and did not even thank Abdu'l-bahá. So ungrateful was he that he would give one hand to the doctor and check his pulse and use the other hand to cover his face so that he would not see Abdu'l-bahā's face. This went on for many years. Abdu'l-bahá continued to be kind. Then one day he went to Abdu'l-bahá, fell on Abdu'l-bahā's feet and cried, "Forgive me, sir. For 24 years I have done evil to you. For 24 years you have shown only goodness to me. Now I only know that I have been wrong. Please forgive me." Abdu'l-bahá replied, "Dear children, you see, love is greater than hate and forgiveness is a virtue."
Hi friends, in commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the passing of Abdu'l-bahá, I would like to share with you of the extraordinary ability of Abdu'l-bahá the Master, who knows what is in our heart. Leroy Ayers, a young boy in 1912, was blessed to meet the Master on his visit to Chicago. One day, on the way to the Plaza Hotel to hear Abdu'l-bahá, he decided to buy him some flowers. Though he had but little money, he managed to find a large bouquet of flowers which he himself especially liked, white carnations. But in approaching the hotel, he had a change of heart. He would not give Abdu'l-bahá those flowers after all, he told his father. His dad was genuinely perplexed. Why, when the Master so loved flowers? Young Leroy gave his answer, "I come to the Master offering him my heart, and I do not want him to think I want any favors. He knows what's in a person's heart, and that is all I have to offer." With that for an answer, Leroy's father went upstairs and presented the flowers to Abdu'l-bahá. How the Master enjoyed them! Their fragrance delighted him, and he buried his face in their midst, as he was inclined to do. During the talk, Leroy sat at the feet of this great teacher, completely fascinated. Those dynamic, ever-changing eyes, those majestic movements, that charm. After the talk, the Master stood up and shook hands with each guest. To each, he gave one white carnation. Finally, only a few remained. Leroy, standing behind Abdu'l-bahá, thought, "Gee, I wish he would turn around and shake hands with me before they are all gone." With that thought, the Master turned and saw him. Abdu'l-bahá wore a lovely red rose, which he then pulled from his coat and gave to the boy. Leroy knew the Master was aware that it was actually he who had brought those carnations. Thank you.
At home with Abdu'l-bahá.
My home is the home of peace. My home is the home of joy and delight. My home is the home of laughter and exaltation. Whoever enters through the portals of this home must go out with gladsome heart. These are the words of Abdu'l-bahá. This is how he wanted it to be in his home. his home must be a home filled with laughter and delight. If all goes well, if nothing goes wrong, it is not difficult to be happy and joyful. But if things don't go well, or if you actually have to face severe setbacks, you could say that is what the Holy Family had to do. The worst was past. They were no longer in the most great prison. They could live in a house, but they were still prisoners, and for years they were not allowed to leave Akka. In addition, it was extremely unjust that they were kept prisoners. None of them had done anything for which he or she should be punished. Sometimes, their house was very closely watched, and then they would see the guards walking up and down in front of it. Another problem was that Akka was not a healthy city, and because of this, they often become ill. Abdu'l-bahá and Munire Khanum had 9 children. 5 of them died very young. Often, there was very little money, so that they could only buy the most urgent essentials. Mirza Muhammad Ali and his accomplices often made their lives even more difficult. They kept sending bad reports about Abdu'l-bahá to the authorities. Several times the threat was so great that no one in Akka dared to speak to the Holy Family. If people had to live under those conditions, can they then be happy? Can such a house be a home where there is lots of laughter? Yet, in spite of all these difficulties, the Holy Family was a happy family. They loved each other and helped each other as much as they could. They had plenty of fun and always found something to make a joke about. Every day, they got up early in the morning to have prayers together. Abdu'l-bahá was then already back from visiting the sick and going through his correspondence. His sister, the greatest holy leaf, and his wife, Munire Khanum, and her daughters with their children were all there. And also the people who lived with them in their house, like a Persian lady who had lost all of her family through the persecutions in Persia. The children would sit by the door. Between the prayers, tea would be served, and now and then the children would also chant prayers. Everyone listened attentively. The windows and doors were open, and sometimes the sparrows flew in to peck at the grains of sugar that the children threw for them. Pilgrims were always a source of great joy to the Holy Family. When they arrived in Akka, they were lovingly greeted as if they were old friends the family knew for years. The family did everything to make their guests feel at home. Often, the pilgrims would be served at the table by Abdu'l-bahá himself. The Holy Family wanted to know all about the faith in the country from which the pilgrims came. They were prisoners themselves who could not go traveling to teach the faith. But the pilgrims were the proof that the faith has penetrated to faraway countries and was even growing stronger there. They were happy to hear every report of the progress of the faith. When the first pilgrims of America and Europe came, they could not understand each other. They needed interpreters, and these were hard to find. But the daughters of Abdu'l-bahá asked the pilgrims to teach them English, and they taught the pilgrims Persian in return. After a few years, they could talk to each other and even wrote each other letters. These are the luckiest pilgrims who had the greatest opportunity to be with Abdu'l-bahá in His lovely home. We should also remember that our home is what keeps us safe from the threats of these dark ages. Although we are unable to meet each other yet, we should always remember to love and spend time with our dear families and loved ones at home, just like Abdu'l-bahá. Most importantly, we should all be grateful for God gifting us a wonderful home.
Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. Abdu'l-bahá.
The place is not important. Your happiness very important. Abdu'l-bahá. இதயம் தெளிவாகவும் உள்ளம் தூய்மையாகவும் ஆன பின் முகம் ஒளி பெறும். ஏனெனில் முகம்தான் இதயத்தின் கண்ணாடி.